behalf of our students. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, don't believe we have CSEA speaker tonight, so we'll move straight to item 8, statement of principle. And I think we have Mr. Lang. Oh no, we have
That's me.
Ellen here, please.
Hello, everyone. My name's Ellen Kreska. I am the principal at Hoover School, sharing the principal statement with you all. So across the district, our campuses have been buzzing with learning, joy, and community. We recently across the district wrapped up Readathon with events like Maverick Jacks building excitement about reading. Classrooms and students tracked reading minutes, created tree posters, and celebrated student effort. Lincoln raised the most funds this year, which we suspect may have something to do with Dr. Clem's gymnastics skills and her performance of a cartwheel, handstand, and tumbling out of it on the pavement. Students also celebrated the 100th day of school last week. Many wore crowns, counted collections of 100, and some staff and students even dressed as if they were 100 years old, canes included. Our campuses are currently filled with kindness through the Great Kindness Challenge. We heard McKinley students about writing kind notes to teachers and posting them on their doors. We saw student-generated kindness posters at Roosevelt during a visit. And these are just a few examples of students leading with empathy and care. Academically, as Ms. Frank shared, January marked the completion of a variety of learning assessments in preparation for our elementary parent-teacher conferences that are happening this week. Teachers across the district are also engaging in data talks with colleagues to determine next steps for classroom instruction and targeted interventions through RTI. Our staffs have been continuing the work that began in the beginning of January with a whole school district training on UDL. And we're focusing on different ways of giving students more choice and voice in how they learn and demonstrate their learning. For example, we heard about how students at BIS have choices from their teachers in some classes about how to level up with mild, medium, and spicy learning challenges. To close, special events are happening across many campuses with our calendars full of community building activities. We know that Special Event Olympics is happening tomorrow. Washington hosted the Wildcat Waltz on Saturday. BIS is busy with Mary Poppins rehearsals and hosting tours for incoming 6th graders. Lincoln is holding a variety show this week. Roosevelt hosted a We Are Roosevelt multicultural night. Hoover has an upcoming science fair night later this month, and many schools are celebrating Lunar New Year with assemblies and events. At the end of the month, 4th and 5th graders from Washington, Roosevelt, Franklin, and Hoover will participate in a 2-day training here at BIS in the library to become safe school ambassadors. And after the break, we're excited to welcome Christina Gridnio as the new principal of Washington Elementary to our principal team. With so much learning, collaboration, and joy happening across our schools, this is a very exciting time for our district. Thank you for your continued support of our students, our staff, and our school communities.
Thank you, Principal Kraska. All right, statement of Superintendent Marla.
All right, thank you. It's great to see so many people here tonight. I do want to give a shout out to our Hoover Hawks because you all are about half the size of Lincoln and you were really close to them. So you guys did a lot of reading. So thank you for all that you guys did too. In January, Jen Baker attended the workshop for the governor's budget. She invited BEA and CSEA. CSEA was able to go with her. So that was a great opportunity for people to go hear firsthand from School Services of California about the budget coming forward. We also had our new incoming TK and K night, which was packed house. They could not move in the auditorium, so that was exciting. We had a CDAC IEP workshop night number 2, presented by Dr. Mary Young and myself. The BCE readathon, as we talked about. There was another SELPA CAC appreciation event that was held at our community center, which was amazing, and we were able to, I was one of the hosts, as was Amy Roca, so it was nice to be able to welcome everybody from all over our county. We had our city district liaison meeting. For those of you that don't know, that is myself, Ms. Baker, and then president and another board member that meet with the city manager and some of the city council. We met with them last week, and I do want to say just how much we appreciate Burlingame Police Department with all the traffic changes and keeping us informed and keeping our students safe. Also, Caltrans on LCAM added 7 more flaggers in the afternoon because we didn't have flaggers in the afternoon, just to make sure that our students are safe after school. So we're appreciative with those partnerships. Burlingame School District is also a part of Burlingame Vision Zero Action Plan. So we had a meeting last night talking about zero fatalities and major injuries with cars around pedestrians and walking safety. We have seen a huge decrease of e-bikes on our campuses, and I think it's a part of multiple factors, including having meetings with our community prior to winter holidays and just making sure people are informed. And then also Deputy Superintendent Skatina sits on the San Mateo County Office of Ed's e-bike consortium. We have Special Olympics tomorrow, which I know some of us are going to. We're really excited about that. Last week, a group of our staff joined Stanford at their first job fair of the year, which is exciting. And then we even had some of the student teachers or future teachers come and visit our school sites. Today, Special Ed did a job fair at Cal State East Bay, and Thursday we have a larger job fair at Cal State East Bay. So there's lots of stuff going on, conferences, we're in the middle of that, and all of our teachers, and thank you for all of your assessments, because I know it's a lot of work. Probably the most important thing that everybody in this room I know wants to hear is the official start day of the 26-27 school year will be August 19th. And we will, of course, send that out in a newsletter. Thank you.
Thanks, Marla. Item 10 is board communications. These are posted to the agenda. We have 2 letters that came in to the board. We've all reviewed. That's information item. So we're gonna move on to consent item. And I know we have, so consent is a list of items that the board considers to be routine business. So we all review the materials, but we don't vote separately on each one. If anyone wants to remove something from consent and discuss it separately, we can do that. And if there's any requests, now would be the time. No? Okay. Great. Then we'll move to, so like I said before, we'll start with the public comments. Then we will have then we'll vote since this consent, and then we'll move on to the next item, which is the Hoover students. So please be patient with us. Great. So first comment is from Raven Sarnoff.
Sorry, we have to have you on a microphone just because so people can hear on the Zoom. Sorry, right over there with this thing right in. I want to say Henry, you want to
Oh, sure.
Just you can line them up.
Next up, it will be Henry Young.
All right. Members of the boards of trustees, my name is Raven Sarnoff. I am the parent of 2 students in the district's DLI program, Aubrey, an 8th grader at BIS, and Juliet, a 4th grader at McKinley in Mr. Joshua Zapala's class. I am here this evening to present a community letter signed by 145 Burlingame School District parents, including current McKinley families in both the DLI and English-only programs, as well as former McKinley DLI families now at BIS and beyond. This letter reflects widespread concern, not just about one teacher, but about the process that could lead to the loss of a truly exceptional educator at a time when this district has struggled with teacher retention and staffing instability. Across families, we hear the same themes about Mr. Zapala's classroom: real academic growth, especially in reading and writing, students who are more motivated and accountable, and a calm, structured environment that supports learning. Parents have shared concrete outcomes. One parent shared, "My son has closed the gap in his reading capabilities, 5 levels in 4 months, and is finally at grade level. This is something that he has not been able to do since the lack of teachers in 1st grade." She also said, "For the first time in 5 years at McKinley, my son comes home and wants to do his homework. He sets an alarm to make sure he gets it done because he doesn't want to let Mr. Z down." Others describe broader shifts. "This year, I've seen significant positive impact on my child with Mr. Zapala. He's become more positive, more responsible with his homework, and has started reading regularly. Overall, I see a very meaningful shift." One parent who regularly volunteers in the classroom stated, "I have also observed him directly in the classroom and find him to be very caring and effective. He seems to expect a lot from kids, but in return, they take pride in delivering. His students echo these same themes in their own words. One said he, quote, makes sure we do our work and learn and don't make excuses. And more than one said he is strict but silly. In other words, holding his students to high standards, maintaining a calm and controlled classroom, and also making learning fun. This has certainly been true for my daughter, Juliet. She has struggled with reading and writing and with anxiety that makes it hard for her to focus and succeed in the classroom. Until last year, she was not reading independently. Early in the year, Mr. Zappala reached out after noticing she was having difficulty staying focused and completing work. He listened carefully as I shared context, and he immediately shared ideas for how he could adjust his instruction to meet her needs, adding structure and scaffolding, particularly around writing. From that point on, we had consistent, open communication, and for the first time, a true partnership in our daughter's education. Juliet learns best in calm, predictable environments, and Mr. Zappala's classroom structure is paired with warmth and humor. As a result, she is happy and learning. Going to skip ahead. After hearing these same outcomes described again and again by different families, these accounts cease to be anecdotal and instead reveal a clear pattern of excellence by an exceptionally effective teacher. And am I
Thank
out
you.
of time? Wow. Can I hand you the letter?
Great. Next is Henry Young. Awesome.
Good evening. My name is Henry Young. I'm here tonight because I care deeply about this community, our school, and I truly believe in the people who show up for our kids every single day. I want to begin by acknowledging how hard this moment is for teachers, for administrators, and for families. Teaching is already one of the hardest professions, and right now it's even becoming even harder to do it well in a way that lasts and with joy. I'm speaking up tonight because part of my concern is surrounding Joshua Z. But more importantly, because this situation reflects a broader issue we're seeing at McKinley and across our district. Ongoing turnovers, declining morale, and systems under constant change that is stretching people thin. And I want to be clear, this is not about one program or another. We are one McKinley, one district, and one community. For context, my child is not in the DLI program. And I'm speaking up because this affects our entire school community. Jaden has been at McKinley since kindergarten and is now in 4th grade. During that time, he has seen repeated staff changes among classmates. That level of turnover isn't abstract for families. It shapes students' experiences and school culture year after year. I've heard broadly and consistently that frequent staffing change creates additional, often invisible, work for educators who remain. When positions turn over, teachers step in to support students and preserve continuity. And that added responsibility accumulates and impacts the morale over time. Teachers are hard to find. Amazing teachers are even harder to keep. And retention doesn't happen through words alone. It happens through support, stability, trust, and empathy. I know one response may be that turnover happens everywhere, and I understand that, but something being common doesn't make it acceptable, and it doesn't mean it's outside our control locally. When constant change becomes the norm, even strong schools, hard place to sustain long-term growth for educators and students alike. This isn't about blame. It's about accountability and shared responsibilities, taking clear ownership of morale and retention, being transparent about what's driving turnover, and acting intentionally to create stability for educators our kids depend on. I'm not here to raise concern, not just to raise concern. I'm here because I believe we can be better, and we must be better. As parents, leaders, community members, we have a responsibility to support the people who support our children every day. If we want growth for our kids, we must first create an environment where teachers feel valued, trusted, supported to grow as well. Thank you, committee members, for your time.
Thank you, Henry. Next up is it Viva or Viva? Viva Parikh.
Do I just?
You can sit or stand, whichever you prefer, by the boat near the microphone so we can hear you. Thank you.
Ready?
We're ready.
Hi, I'm Viva Parikh. I'm in third grade and looking forward to fourth grade. In third grade, I get to do lots of fun things, like Gold Rush, band, science fair, and the spelling bee. Those are all things I want to do. But most importantly, I want a good fourth grade teacher. I know my fourth grade friends have been really enjoying Maestro Zapala. I was even looking forward to having him as my teacher too. Now that I have spoken, I know that you will make the right decision. Thank you.
Thank you, Viva. Very nice job. Next up is William Schlatter.
Do I have an option to stand as well?
Sure, as long as we can hear you. through
Because
the
I
mic.
want, the administration's here and I feel like.
Yeah, we are on Zoom, so we just want to make sure that one of the mics is picking you up. and
Okay,
then
I'll-
as long as
I'm
that's
sure it'll pick me up.
Okay, great.
Good evening, my name is William Schlatter. I am a McKinley parent here to speak about the importance of teacher retention. I'm not here to speculate on confidential matters. I respect that process. I'm here to address visible, documented outcomes of recent district decisions. McKinley is currently facing a significant stability issue. The school year began with 3 DLI teachers. Maestra Sylvia is a first grade DLI teacher that is not returning next year. If we lose Maestro Joshua Zapala, McKinley will have lost 2/3 of the newest DLI staff in a single year. Does not have to be this way. Maestro Zapala is a 13-year veteran of teaching with a decade of DLI experience in the San Francisco Unified School District. In just 5 months, he has demonstrated strong performance and integration into the McKinley community, where his own child is currently a kindergartner. From a risk management perspective, when an organization's already losing 2 out of every 3 new hires, the pragmatic decision is to protect the remaining talent. Releasing a proven, experienced bilingual teacher during a documented labor shortage is really a high-risk gamble. Personnel management is not simply about hiring. It is a practice of retention. It is the day-to-day work of supporting educators so that school culture is sustained by the staff for our students. We are told the process is confidential, but the outcome is public. And the outcome we see is the loss of a veteran teacher who has earned the full confidence of the families he serves. Trust and leadership is built when outcomes align with values. When outcomes repeatedly produce instability, families begin to question not intentions, but judgment. Finding a veteran DLI teacher is not a simple task. It is an expensive, difficult recruitment process. Letting a professional walk out the door while his own child is enrolled across the playground is more than just a personnel loss. It is a failure of institutional culture. When a process consistently results in high turnover, the board must question the process itself. Is our management approach designed for long-term stability, or is it creating a revolving door? In other words, do we focus more on hiring than we do on retaining excellent staff? Reconsideration at this stage is not a signal of failure. It would signal responsive leadership grounded in evidence and community trust. I respectfully urge the board, please reassess and consider whether retaining Maestro Zapala better serves student stability and long-term success of the McKinley DLI program.
Thank you, William. Next up is Ashley, or is it Ainsley or Ashley?
Ainsley.
Ainsley, I'm sorry.
Hello, my name is Ansley and I am in the fourth grade at McKinley School. I have gone to McKinley since kindergarten in the Spanish DLI program. I have had a lot of good teachers, but Mr. Zapala is one of the best teachers I've had, probably in the top 2. I don't understand why he can't stay at McKinley, and I want to explain why I think he should. Mr. Z teaches very well, and he is very passionate about Spanish language learning. He makes learning fun, but he also makes sure we do our work. He's not an easy teacher, but everyone actually likes that because we learn more and feel proud of ourselves. He is also very supportive. If you are feeling down or having a hard day, he notices and helps you. He is very energetic, and you can tell that he really cares about us and about teaching. He also makes sure kids behave, and everyone in our class respects him. All of the kids in our class like Mr. Z. A lot of them say he is the best teacher they've had in all 5 years at McKinley. One student in our class who has really struggled has improved so much this year and is probably their best year yet. They are on a really good path, and I think that is because of Mr. Z. Mr. Z is also very involved in our school community. He comes to school events like Harvest Fest and the school barbecue, and I've never seen him miss one. He even donated an auction item to coach soccer for the school auction. We have met both of his sons, and they are so cute. Dominic is in kindergarten, and it would be really sad if he couldn't go to McKinley next year. Mr. Z is also very funny. If we make jokes at the wrong time, he redirects us. But when it is an okay time, he makes class fun. That balance makes us want to listen and learn. I honestly don't understand why the school would want him to leave. I really think he should stay at McKinley, and I hope you will look closely into this because I don't think there is a good reason for him to go. Thank you for listening and for caring about our school.
Thank you, Ansley. Very well done. And next up is Angelique.
Oh, no, this is
Oh,
17, number
I'm sorry.
17.
Okay, I think that's it for, that's it for 11. Okay.
So it should have been 2.
Is there-
Right there.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, Sana.
Good evening. My name is Sana Parikh, and I'm an 8th grader at BIS. I'm so grateful for my teachers and the DLI community of parents that have put in so much time and effort into my education every step of the way. During my 9 years at the district, there have been so many positives. Among these include the Harvest Festival, pep rallies, and field trips. I'm even excited to be traveling with 25 of my classmates to Costa Rica this week. On the flip side, I've had experience that I hope no student has to go through. You might remember I was here 3 years ago, and I shared with you how I spent the first 3 months of my 6th grade year without a Spanish teacher. Every period, every day, was put to waste by watching movies in English, having subs who spoke little to no Spanish, and filling our time with busy work. I spent months worrying. I was worried that I'd fall behind, that my years of hard work in Spanish immersion were being flushed away, and I wondered how I would ever catch up. I know firsthand what it is like to have gaps in Spanish instruction. That is a burden no student should have to carry. You are now opening the possibility that this could happen again. Of course it could. Finding a Spanish substitute is hard, let alone finding a Spanish teacher. In fact, there is a community support letter that has been signed by close to 150 parents and lists 6 other times there have been DLI teacher shortages. It is really important that you hear and consider what is in this letter. We should not take any teacher's position for granted, especially those who have so much support behind them. I'm standing here tonight because I hate to think that my 3rd grade sister will go through the same anxiety I went through. I refuse to let her spend months of her 4th grade year staring at a substitute teacher or at a computer screen because you decided a qualified teacher wasn't worth keeping. I believe that the parent community has our best interests at heart, and I want to believe that the staff and the board care just as much. But I have my own experience now, and my own experience tells me that those 150 people who signed the community support letter that you have received have a message that you should consider. Please consider what the parents and students want before making your final decision. Thank you.
You, Sana. Okay, so do we have a motion to approve consent? I'll make a motion to approve consent. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor? Aye. Okay, motion passes 5-0. All right, so we will move on to item 12A, which is the school presentation from Hoover. So
Thank you. Oh, I get to drive. Thank you. Good evening, President, Trustee, Superintendent, and Cabinet. This year at Hoover, we're in the middle of what we like to call a glow-up year. Building on last year's work, we listened carefully to students, families, and teachers. Students loved our 5th grade helper program in taking on leadership roles at campus. Parents sought more involvement in volunteering in our classrooms to see teaching and learning. Teachers wanted to expand learning beyond one shared book, theme, and use assemblies to build community and shared understanding. Science scores and family surveys made one thing clear. It was time to glow up science and STEAM learning at Hoover. It also ranked extremely high in family interest, and teachers welcomed volunteer support for hands-on experiences. So this is a picture from earlier this year. 10 years ago, they took a picture on the first day of school with their whole school. And this year, we took a picture on our Hawk Walk Day with our entire school for our glow up year. And our students here for 5th grade are they're at the very top. You can barely see them in the photo. So at the beginning of the year, at our back to school coffee on the first day of school, I shared our key initiatives, as you can see here. Project Cornerstone, we want to expand from 1 book to 7 books with parent volunteer readers and be a partner school with Project Cornerstone. Another key initiative was our work around communications. We wanted to build a better shared understanding of restorative practices and see them as magic moments for learning. And we also wanted to glow up STEAM with building up a STEAM lab, which is just an empty classroom, and have science class volunteers and launch a brand new program and day called STEAM Fest. It seemed like a lot, but all together with our students, parents, and staff, Hoover is truly glowing up. Today, we're going to spotlight 2 of those pieces with our Hoover Hawk News crew that's here tonight. And we're also going to talk about our work around STEAM learning. We'll hear from students, parents, and teachers about our collective efforts to make all this happen. First, I'm excited to introduce our Hoover Hawk News crew from the last 2 weeks. So you can see student agency in action. And 3/4 of our students in 5th grade have had an opportunity to be on the crew. They take turns. They take turns writing the script, filming, being camera, sound, mics. Then it goes to editing and producing on the iPad, and they're going to tell you all about it.
Hi, I'm Naveen Ramatian. I've been an anchor and reporter on the crew. Here's how we do every episode. Every week we have the script writers who write the script, as well as anchors and camera people. They go into the library and film it behind a green screen. Then what they do is they give it to the editors and they put it together all using iMovie. Hi, I'm Lucas, and I've been an anchor, editor, and reporter role on the crew. One thing that I love about this opportunity is that it gives me self-confidence. When we spend all this time on an episode and I see people like it, it gives me confidence. Also, students and teachers giving us feedback helps us have better episodes. For example, sometimes people ask for more fun episodes. Popular ones were when we asked teachers what their favorite candy is, or another one with Coach Manu during a handstand competition.
Hi, I am Penny, and I have anchored and reported on episodes.
People really liked the episodes when we interviewed all the teachers about the Halloween candy, or when our PE teacher did the handstand challenge. There are so many benefits to the news program, like meeting great students, parents, and teachers for special interviews. We also have a bunch of fun behind and on the scenes. Hi, my name is Dominic, and I have been an anchor in the Hoover Hawk News. What makes me motivated is filming with friends and working with new people. It makes filming easier and it runs more smoothly.
Hi, this is my work. Hi, I'm Anna, and I've been a scriptwriter, reporter, and anchor for this program. One thing I took away from this opportunity is you may not reach your goal in the first try, but if you keep going, it will get better.
Hi, I'm Evan, and I'm both the cameraman and editor role in Hoover Rock News. Being in the Hoover Rock News can sometimes be challenging, but you always have to persevere. We have learned that the lighting of the green screen is very important. I have also learned that both editing and being a cameraman takes a lot of patience.
Hi, I'm Michael and I'm an editor. The benefit of being in Hoover News is that you get to learn from all your mistakes. We've had many technical challenges to work through with this episode. For example, we filmed many more interviews and content, but some did not make it into the episode. We tried to combine a few things, and it took pretty long to do the voiceovers with the clips. But with hard work, we were finally able to finish the episode. Here's our video about science and STEAM at Hoover this year. I hope you like our episode.
There's a microphone. Is it coming from your? It's just coming. Yeah, if you could just make the microphone go down, that'd be great. Thank you.
Hello, Hoover Hawks. I'm Anna, and good evening to the members of the Board of Education.
Hi, I'm Lucas, and good evening to the DSD leadership.
And hello, I'm Penny, and I am excited to welcome you to a very special Board of Education edition of Hoover Hawk News. This year, Hoover has been blowing up STEAM learning.
That's right, Anna. We've been learning in new exciting ways through science volunteers, and Maker Madness design challenges.
And Hoover even hosted its very own STEAM Fest. Lucas and Penny both went out to investigate how our community is working together to blow up STEAM learning. Lucas, you were out on campus learning about STEAM in the classroom. What did you find?
This year at Hoover, STEAM learning has taken on a new energy. Teachers have introduced exciting experiments like Maker Madness design challenges, hands-on experiments, and opportunities that encourage students to think like scientists and engineers. Let's take a look. Our new STEAM Hub is a great place for learning and experiments. How was the experiment yesterday?
It was really fun. We learned how to filter dirty water with materials from around the world.
How has science been this year?
It's been good. We've been learning about birds is that when birds have long, sharp beaks, they can tear through fish to eat.
How has science compared this year to last year?
It's much better. We got to learn much more, and we get to do it in a new room, the science lab.
Thank you, parents and teachers, for all your help. Science is going great this year. Back to you.
Thanks, Lucas. It sounds like the new STEAM Lab, plus with the support of parent volunteers, built momentum for STEAM this year.
You're correct, Anna. And Penny saw how the Hoover energy for STEAM didn't stop in the classroom. It helped launch the first ever STEAM Fest.
What is a STEAM Fest? This was the first STEAM Fest at Hoover. It was an exciting afternoon with over 40 volunteers leading 21 hands-on sessions. I talked with students, teachers, and parents to see what STEAM Fest was all about. The afternoon of January 22nd was not a normal school day at Hoover.
Well, STEAM Fest was the most fun day ever. The entire school was overrun with STEAM activities that parents ran.
Fourth graders tested earth-shaped tables and launched puff rockets.
I like the rocket one was the first one. I liked it because we got to see how far we can shoot the rocket from.
Okay, great. In kindergarten, students learned about empire penguins. Even Miss Crawford got on their list. Parents were a key part of Food Fest. In fifth grade, parents helped students learn chemistry by identifying mystery powders.
Reasons. I think it was really a great way for all the kids at Hoover to get hands-on experience with STEAM-related activities and, you know, to try different things, rotate through different stations, and really be able to see not only how all the science, technology, engineering, arts, math interact in the real world, but also to see parents doing it. So to get parents really involved in the school and the community and meet all the different kids. I think both of those things are really great.
From Colors of Light to puppy programming and bubble art, STEAM Fest sparked joy while learning. Thank you, Penny, and thank you, Lucas, for that wonderful report. This has been a great chance for all students to learn.
It really has been a fun year at Hoover so far.
The kids are already asking about another STEAM Fest. Thanks for watching this special edition of Hoover Hawk News. That's all for today's episode.
And remember, Hoover Hawks,
Together we soar.
On my end, there was better sound and video. It was a little bit glitchy. It wasn't the Teams work. Thank you, guys. All right. Experimenting with the T in STEAM is developing the creative issues arise and growing confidence when they see things through. Definitely man the microphone, whether it's a student, teacher, staff member. Student agency. Students communicating about their learning, celebrating STEAM, and helping connect our school community. I now would like to introduce pivotal parent representatives and our own teachers.
And Ellen as well. Some of the impact that we've had, we launched a new STEAM lab this year. A lot of parent effort went into building up that STEAM lab over the summer and at the start of the school year. And now every class has monthly labs co-hosted by parent volunteers. There are 2 to 3 parent volunteers who volunteer for STEAM in every grade level at Hoover, and classes come together to do these labs on a monthly cadence. We ran science fair for the first time 2 years ago at Hoover. In the first year, we had 40 posters, 80 students participate. Last year, we had 108 students participate, over 50 posters created, and over 300 attendees at science fair. It was a real community event. It was a lot of energy and action, and probably the most proud moment was just the student pride in their agency. They learned something new. They tested out their ideas, and they were so proud to present it to the judges who were parent volunteers to do that. And this year, as Ellen already mentioned, we ran STEAM Fest, which was a day that gave access to every student on campus to 3 experiments per grade level. It took over 50 parent volunteers to make that day happen. And it was our first year, so there was a lot of extra effort, but it was really close collaboration with the teachers to tie it to the curriculum standards that were present at that grade level, and to put the supplies together and run it. So 21 experiments run that day. And across Hoover in science activities, we have over 65 volunteers. That is, our school is small, but mighty, but even with those small numbers, that is huge impact. That is nearly half the families participating in STEAM volunteering at Hoover. And it's a tight collaboration with the teachers. The parents' involvement in the classroom really also highlights increases student achievement and interest. For me personally, it has been a great way to watch my son learn at Hoover, and to have an impact on other students as well. And we also bring in the community. Last year, we had BIS Trobots come to science fair and present. We have local community science organizations that come and participate. This year, we're going to have BHS students come and help be judges as well. So it becomes a full community engagement event in support of student learning and excitement.
We can just, yeah. Hi, I'm Persis, mom to Naveen and in 5th grade and Cyrus in 2nd grade. This is our 2nd year at Hoover, and it's been a really wonderful experience for our family. It's been a great community. So I'm here to share just a little bit more about the parent involvement and perspective of the STEAM program. And really at the heart of the STEAM program is the collaboration between teachers and parents. Our parents don't just donate supplies and money. As Pri said, they really donate their time to make it a rich experience for everyone. It's been a true glow up in our STEAM lab, where they went in, concepted, created an environment that really leads to hands-on learning and inspires the kids each time that they're in the lab. To ensure that our curriculum stays relevant and exciting, each grade has 2 to 3 parent volunteers, as Pri said. Those volunteers work extremely closely in lockstep with our teachers to co-create and develop content and experiments that are deeply aligned with the interests of the students, as well as being grade appropriate. At least once a month, students go into the lab with their teachers and the parent volunteers. The parent volunteers are responsible for
the logistics and gathering the materials, which frees up the teachers to actually lead the in-depth experiments. And you can feel the joy in the lab when the kids are starting to understand it all come together, and the teachers can really focus on the learning and the content while the parents are helping guide the experience. Thanks for having us.
Hi, good evening. Hopefully you all can hear me. Is it okay? Great. I'm Stacey Weir. I am a 4th and 5th grade teacher at Hoover. This year we proudly opened our brand new STEAM room, which you have seen. And I'm going to echo what the parents have already said tonight about how we're using this space and how we're collaborating with the parents. Let's go back one, thanks. STEAM really took off this year. One of the highlights as seen here and what we've already heard was collaborating with our Hoover parents. Early on, parents joined one of our staff meetings. It's in this picture. We brainstormed hands-on science ideas for the lab, made a huge difference having parents with real-world expertise in our classrooms. Has added depth and authenticity to our learning. Students could see how science and problem solving connect beyond the classroom and into the real world. During this meeting, we spent some time reviewing all of the standards for our grade levels, along with current science curriculum. We talked about key units that we wanted to highlight and how we could amplify them more with hands-on experiences. We used the standards to guide us and ensured the experiences were meaningful across all of the grade levels. Each lesson can be replicated from year to year. This was really important to us and easily shared with colleagues around the Burlingame schools. Our focus on STEAM this year has been strengthened by collaboration, not only among the students, but also among the teachers and the families. It's been incredibly rewarding to see. I wanted to show a few examples of students and experiments that we did. So here's some TK students. They created some ice traps, freezing small treasures like beads and toys and ice, and rescuing them using tools. 2nd grade explored leaf chromatography, watching colors separated to discover how leaves get their fall colors. Up here, there's some 3rd graders discussing adaptations. You saw a few of these earlier with our Hoover Hawk News. Adaptations examining different bird beaks. 4th graders, this was my class on the right. We did circuit boards. Not all of them lit up at first, but with some iteration and persistence from myself and the students. 95% of them lit up. And then lastly, here are our 5th graders. They explored states of matter by making ice cream, watching their ingredients transform from liquids into a delicious solid. What could be better than learning science and getting to eat ice cream at the same time? So thanks for having us up here presenting.
Yes, so and as I reflect on this year, we want to thank you for having us tonight. And what stands out for me is how proud I am of our Hoover community. We've been focusing on creating a stronger community and glowing up our work together. We want to make sure our students are engaged, that our teachers are innovating, and our families are such meaningful partners with us in this work. And we see this in our classrooms. When teachers are innovating and deepening instruction, we see it in STEAM, in our lab, when the hands-on learning sparks curiosity and problem solving. We also see it in Hoover Hawk News, where students lead, communicate, and share our story in their own voices. And that's published in our Hoover Hawkeye every week. So at Hoover, we say together we soar, and we're proud to share all of this work with you. Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
Great. I have a question for the news crew. Since you've been doing this, can you think of a mistake you made and what you might have learned from it? I see some smiles. Go for it. Just go ahead. It can be any mistake, big or small. Okay.
So on a few episodes, we edited on the computer and like the green screen was kind of like the lighting was kind of like off on parts of it. So it came out kind of like pixely and choppy.
You can like see the like chemicals on it,
Oh.
and it was like not really good. And then there's like a time where it like glitched, and then the green lighting was bad that you could like see through the people, and it was really weird.
There's another time where the anchors kind of messed up and they kept on playing with their mics through, and then it made like a really loud static, so we had to redo everything in like 2 days, 1 day.
Yes, good lessons. Anyone else? It's okay if you had never made a mistake. We never make mistakes. That's okay. That's good. Yeah, go ahead.
So one time, okay, so there's this guy named Nico. He's not here today though. But so he was filming and he found dice in one of the rooms we were recording. So I took a dice, called it my lucky dice, but it wasn't lucky. We had to try like 5 times. So yeah.
Make some good outtakes. That's great. Good job, you guys.
Any other questions for the Hoover crew? All right, well, thank you all so much, and thanks for being patient, and you all did a wonderful job presenting to us, so we really appreciate you being here.
Good job. What's the?
Can we have the waters and movies?
You can take the waters. And
They haven't been there long enough.
Is there enough for everyone? You can have one of my men. You guys good?
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, we'll move on to item 12B, which is the BSD course change for the 26-27 school year. And
Thank
Matt.
you. Yes, so I'd like to bring up Principal Land to the front. Yeah, sure. So we are asking the board to approve 2 new course descriptions tonight for a 7th grade English class and a 7th grade social studies class. We are uncoupling the 2 in 7th grade, as was the plan for a while. So we have made it to this point. I don't know if Mr. Lamb wants to talk about the courses or not, or if we want to just go straight to questions, or I mean, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, I'm more than happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Great. Well, yeah, we've reviewed the material. Any questions for Greg or Matt? Okay. All right. In that case,
Oh, wait, I have one question.
Yes.
I'm
Now,
back.
just a question as a new trustee. So is it, just for awareness for planning, will there be more of these? Like, is it part of a plan that like, or is it just like this one?
I can answer that in 2 ways. So we will come to you with other course of studies that may be more electives, more innovative ways to do new things. But this is how we would start, is do a course of study. The uncoupling, I think this is the last one because, you know, in 6th grade, you have to have the core classes together. So.
Sounds good.
Okay.
Great.
Great.
Well said.
So I'll move approval of the course changes. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Samanti, all those in favor?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Greg.
Greg. Item 12C is the local control and accountability plan, LCAP mid-year update. Don?
Thank you, Board of Trustees. Tonight we bring an information item before you. It's a mid-year report on our LCAP update. You received the document, a few highlights. First, LCAP doesn't happen in a vacuum. It includes one thing that's unique is it includes all departments and giving feedback and updates, whether it's on the business side with expenditures, or whether it's with education ed services side and student support services, amongst other departments like special education and ELD. And so a lot of that information, and it's a collaboration between all of us. And so a few highlights in goal 1 is goal was centered around MTSS academic achievement and conditions of learning. One positive, one of many areas of positive to take away is our decrease in chronic absenteeism. And then one area of growth is just a slight decline in the overall, slight mid-year declines in ELA and math trend data. For goal number 2, which is targeted student groups, it's notable the majority of our students are meeting or exceeding the benchmarks in local phonics and foundational literacy. And then an area of growth would be for our English learners progress dipped slightly in that area. For goal 3, with centers around our students with disabilities, we had benchmark gains across the board, and then in CAS proficiency levels, gains in our local benchmark assessments, pardon me. And then for an area of growth, it's in relation to a slight decrease below our targets for our students with disabilities for CAS proficiency levels. For goal 4, for engagement and school climate, we had improvements of sense of students feeling a sense of safety, belonging, and connectedness. And then one area of growth would be like extracurricular participation. Not actually the participation levels, but the documentation of the participation, because we know it's happening. We're not capturing it in the ways that we should. So we're putting a lot of efforts into how do we capture that data so that we can inform the report a little better. Finally, goal 5, attendance and family engagement, improved attendance rates across the board, clear with a 1.8% improvement over the past 2.5 years. And then area growth would be survey participation. We've heard this before in previous meetings where we need to get more survey participants specific to our Healthy Kids survey and our staff survey and our parent and guardian survey that goes out in the spring. This is an information item, so we can take questions.
Great. Any questions? Good. Okay. Great. Thank you, Don. Appreciate it. So that's an information item. We'll move on to 12D, Summer Learning Opportunities 2026.
Okay, thank you, everybody. I'd like to welcome Vice Principal Danya Zalat and our ELAP coordinator, and also our area manager for Champions Extended Learning, Melissa Jostat.
It's okay.
Jostat. That's what I was going to say. Jostat to come on up, and we're going to talk about what we're doing for the summer. Who's driving?
Okay.
We can go to the next slide, actually. Who's?
Next slide, I can't see it.
There we go. So each year, as it has been in the past, we have three different programs running. We have our ESY, our extended school year. We have our Step Up to Kindergarten, and we have our Summer Academy for ELAP. This year will be something unique that we haven't done in the past is Champ Camp. But let me explain all three of them. Our extended school year is mandated by IEPs for students with exceptional needs who may regress during the summer. So we provide some extra learning in that way. Step Up to Kindergarten is a unique program. that we run for students who have not attended any schooling before kindergarten. So we can give them kind of a leap forward before they start into our traditional kindergartens. So we're actively doing outreach right now to families, new families, to see if that's a need. With the expansion of preschool and expansion of TKs, it's becoming less and less of a need, but still a need in our community. And then our summer academy is our bulk of our summer learning, which is through our ELAP program. And this year, with our contract with Champions, who ran through our RFP process, they are taking off and running all the way through the dates for our summer program. So next slide. So this tells you the dates that we'll have programs and who's served and kind of the hours of everything. The cost that is put in there, I was make a note that the $95,000 is actually already part of our contract with Champions for our ELAP program, and has already been provided. So what is Champ Camp? So Melissa's here to talk about Champ Camp.
At Champions ELOP Summer, Champ Camp, we create a summer experience full of new skills through hands-on activities, teamwork and collaboration, research-based board-approved curriculum. We do have an education team in our company who has created curriculum specifically for our Champ Camp. Outdoor adventures and exploration. This is one of my most favorite parts of Champ Camp. Joy and memorable friendships. This summer, Champions will build confidence, curiosity, and community. Develop key mindsets, grow physical and mental skills, and learn new things. They'll enjoy STEM, art and drama, making friends, sports and games, and plenty of outdoors in every week of camp. All of our experiences align to one of these foundational principles. Just imagine, solving problems, keeping your mind active and ready for the future. Only you, discovering your unique capabilities that help you adapt and grow through new challenges. Stewardship partners, joining forces in our shared goal to create and make the world better. In it together, learning about and connecting with each other through care, empathy, and trust. Here are a few of our themes. So since this would be a 4-week program, we have one theme per week. We have friendship, where campers participate in a human knot and other physical challenges, working in teams and using words of affirmation to encourage each other towards a winning solution. Outdoors, we actually will be doing outdoors a lot, but we'll have 1 week specifically themed for outdoors. Campers will join the great backyard bird hunt, taking a hike in their local area and counting and recording the many different birds they see. Movement, water play time. Campers compete in water ball catch and wacky water relays, and then learn how important it is to keep the insides of their bodies hydrated with water too. And creativity. Campers explore their creative side by making paint out of natural materials and then collaborating on a giant fingerprint mural. Our 4 cores of Champ Camp: safety first. We have caring, reliable, and trusted staff with secure procedures. We already have our team hired for this, and they've already gone through extensive training with us, but we're doing an additional professional development day for them to prepare for summer. It's a different experience during summer, running all day. So they do have an additional professional development day for this. We have hands-on learning. Research-backed curriculum sparks curiosity and creativity. Social growth, building independence, confidence, and lasting friendships. And then a big focus on literacy and math that is actually built into the day with Amira and Beast Math, 30 minutes per day for the kiddos. In addition to that, we create our own library environment so that way the kiddos can have their own time if they want to read on their own after. We also want to carry over something we're doing in all of our programs. We have a lot of our older kiddos actually reading to the younger kids, something that they're really passionate about. So daily reading will be separate in addition to the Amira and Beast Math.
So I think already Ms. Melissa covered that part. The students will be they will have during the day a 30-minute time locked to work on Amira, which is a program that has already been implemented and the students are already familiar with it. So that is a bonus for that. Same thing regarding the Beast Math. It is also a program that has been implemented throughout the school year and it will continue over summer so that the students can keep on growing and we see the progress over the time. As she mentioned, they will be having daily reading opportunities for the students, whether the reading are connected to the theme that the students are going to be exposed to, or reading because they want to enjoy the reading are already provided as school. Definitely, everything that's going to be happening is around hands-on activities because it's summertime, but also we know that the students learn at best when they're playing. So this is where most of the activities and the themes are going to be focused around hands-on activities where the students are learning and engaging, and at the same time building the skills that they might need for the next coming year. The themes are going to be addressed according to their age level. So even if the themes are across, but the activities and the engagement are going to be age appropriate for every single age group. That's it.
Great. So what we're trying to provide is a fully enriched program that has all these great activities and all these STEAM-based learning, and also capture some time for our students to get extra academic support.
Thank you. Any questions?
And question. I love is it Champ Camp or Camp Champ?
Camp.
I know.
I love it. I think that it's so great to help our students who deserve this extra time. One question I had or idea is, I don't want to assume, but I would guess that some of these students might come from socioeconomic backgrounds or unhoused or things like that. Are there like free services we could think of to like supplement that are like kind of out there already? Like I see in the flyers, like the dentist van, like stuff like that.
Absolutely. It's it was a great comment and a great question. And certainly we will work on finding that. I think it's an absolutely fantastic idea. So
great.
I have a question. I love the name also. Yeah,
Thank you.
So I noticed on slide 4, it talks about a research-based board-approved curriculum. And then we also talked about Beast Math and Amira, and then the reading piece, the daily reading piece. So and this may not be something that is a conversation for tonight, but I would certainly love to have more information about that board-approved curriculum and how that ties into both Amira and Beast Math and into instruction that isn't coming from those programs, but maybe, what are the in-person instruction opportunities that we're offering kids as part of this?
I could actually work on getting the curriculum. I could send examples of not only like the unit themes, but the actual activities and curriculum that goes with it.
You can send to me. I'll put in board updates.
Okay, great. That would be wonderful. Thank you very much.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, great. Thank you.
Great. Any other questions? All right. Thank you.
It's a voting.
Oh, and it's a voting matter. So do we have a motion to approve the summer programs?
I'll make a motion to approve.
I got Nicole first. Tanya second. All those in favor?
Aye.
5-0.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, 12E is professional learning update for the 26-27 school year.
Great. This one's just me. So if we get that one up. Okay, so talking about our professional learning, I wanted to start by kind of talking where, should I wait?
You can go ahead.
Okay. Starting with this year, and then we're going to launch into next year, because I want to tell the full story of kind of where we're going and how we got there. So we started with a few things. We had something that we're continuously developing, and I'll talk about a little bit more about the history behind our supporting inclusive practices, but we did some professional learning around that this year. We added support for some content curriculum that we already had. We went back and looked at benchmark, iReady, illustrated math, and so forth. And then we onboarded some new programs. Amira and UFly and Beast Math were new to us this year, so we provided professional learning for that. We did a lot. We took on a lot this year. I appreciate the effort of everyone that was involved with that. Throughout the year, throughout the year, meaning outside of our PL days, our professional learning days, and during either grade level meetings or through staff meetings or just meetings that are sessions outside of class time after school, we took on UFly, Amira, Beast Math, and even sent some people. In fact, today, we had some people working on CRLP, how English works, some continuation of that work as well. Our whole professional learnings this year, on August 18th, we had a wide variety of things that we had moved towards. These was more reintroducing some of the things that we already had. And then in October 13th, we were very structured, where our elementary school educators did a reacquaintance with benchmark, and our middle school educators had a very productive day of restorative practices. And then January 5th, we had all our educators do UDL training, which was mentioned by Principal Kraska with Nicole Tucker-Smith. After the October 13th, we did a survey of our results. And again, it was good to great and extremely valuable, 75%, which is a high mark for us. But moving forward, people are saying they're going to use these ideas immediately or think a little bit more about it. So high productivity. Again, it speaks to the professionalism of our educators who are able to take ideas and immediately get them into the classroom. In fact, it's a real ask by them to do more practical work. So I want to talk a little bit about UDL because this has been something that has been in our district or working towards in our district for the last 8-9 years. And it's been a whole story. We've done a lot of things from small groups at schools to then we had our Inclusion Academy last year that we did on all district, and then we did early adopters. We've then had UDL come in, and again, early adopters, administrators, and then everyone. And now we've gotten to the point where it's at district grade level and also site staff meetings. And we're actually at the perfect point to where teachers are asking, we need to be more practical. We want to put it into play. And we're seeing that happen now into play. So all the work, all the slow kind of process that we were moving towards, that we kept moving towards it, has been highly, highly productive, as was stated by Principal Kraska. So again, really good results from our January 5th PL survey. This time we had 92% saying they were going to put it in play, and that's played out. We've had schools already. All schools have worked on it through their staff meetings. Thoughts on the day? Really positive comments. It's always nice to hear after you put it together. But we did also have some things to continue to work on. And again, like I said, we wanted things to be more practical. So again, it's right where we want our teachers to be. And again, speaks to their professionalism that they want to have these things into their classroom immediately. But then we asked, okay, further survey results, where do you want us to go next? So we have UDL now down on the sites working. So we're going to move into the next ask, which we heard loud and clear is either behavioral supports or ELD strategies and writing. So that's where we're going. And it aligns with our LCAP goals. As Deputy Superintendent Scatano was saying, one of the main things that we need to focus on through our LCAP goals is our ELD work. So moving forward, that's where we're going. Behavioral support will happen. We're getting trained with training for behavioral support. It'll start in our grade level meetings this year in March, April, and May. We're going to start with that, and then it'll break down into staff meetings as well. We have a group coming in. I wrote down the acronym because I always call them that. Sorry. Anyway, we have a group coming in to work on behavioral supports, tier 1 and tier 2 instruction, giving support to our teachers who have been asking for, when we have students that are having struggles in the class, what are some strategies that I can use? It's been a major ask. So we're working with school-based partners is the name of the group, and they're going to come in and give us some training to start with. ELD will be the main focus of our professional learning as far as the days coming forward next year. We have been talking with both GLAD and again with CRLP and looking for the best fit for us. Right now, it's looking like how CRLP will be the one, and we had really good conversations with them, and they can really answer our needs, and they come with a long history of working with our staff in really positive ways. And this will be a K-8 process, and we broke it down into ways they can do it with all our teachers. So it'll be a full district professional learning move. And then one of the new exciting things that we're just beginning to put together is a staff summer symposium. What we heard very loudly and clearly is, and it's something that we did, a while ago, which was really rely on the expertise of our teachers. Our teachers have a lot of skills of their own, and we need to provide an environment where they can share their expertise with our staff to grow us from the inside. So in the summer, we're going to at least take one day, if not two. It depends on how much interest we have, to pull together a summer symposium where we'll pay teachers to go an extra day and get some extra learning from their fellow staff members. So that's where we're moving.
Thank you, Matt. Any questions for Matt?
A question. So, and this isn't directly necessarily about this, but as I was reading this over and reviewing it in preparation for tonight, I was very much struck by how much has been new this year. And I think it was to your point, right? You mentioned that at the beginning of the presentation, and then sort of wanting to fine tune that and to continue to expand those things next year, but not necessarily add a lot of new things. And I think one thing that I know would be helpful for me, and I think would probably be helpful for others, is a way to look at all of these different programs and initiatives in a way that sort of feels like it ties to the MTSS pyramid, right? And, here are, UFly and BEAST, and here are the things that go in that section of the pyramid. And then here are the things that are in the SEL section, and then here are the things in the behavior section. And I feel like as trustees, it would be useful, right? Because, you look at a presentation like this and it almost feels like alphabet soup at some point, right? And I think for a lot of the community, that's probably true. And I also think for new educators coming into this district to be able to have a resource to go to. We have our MTSS pyramid, and then it almost feels like it wants to be an overlay of that pyramid of, okay, here are the sections of the pyramid, and then here are everything that's in your toolbox for this section of the pyramid, and that section of the pyramid, and that section of the pyramid. And that, just a way to think about it all and organize it so that it, there's sort of a one-stop, outline of all the different resources that are available. So
Yeah.
I would love to see something like that. I mean, obviously not tonight,
Sure,
but
right here.
if that's something we could work towards, I think that would be great.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I will.
Okay,
Mhm.
great. Thank you.
I have another question. The survey results that you've done, is this the first time that set of survey results has happened?
We did it last year as well.
Okay, so
it's roughly the same questions usually too.
Can you speak to the trend?
I can't add this, but I don't have it in front of me, but I can put a note together.
Okay, that'd be great.
Great. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, guys.
All right, move on to item 13A, which is our financial audit report. We are joined by, Jen, you're taking. Yeah. All right.
From Christy White. This is the second year we've been working with Christy White. We went out for a request for proposal because you can only be with one audit company for 6 years and then you need to change.
Give me a second, let me pull this up. How close do I need to be? Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so hello and good evening, members of the governing board. My name is Marcus Seamus, as Jennifer explained, and I'm a supervisor with Christy White. I'm here on behalf of Kyle Montgomery, who was the signing partner, but unfortunately could not be here tonight. Before I begin, I would like to express my appreciation for the opportunity to work with the district and to thank management and staff for their cooperation and support throughout the audit process. Tonight, I'll be presenting the audit results for the Burlingame School District for the fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. Now, before I begin, I just want to kind of give some background, a brief overview of our audit process. Our audit is conducted into two distinct phases. We have our interim and our year-end phase. The interim phase typically takes place in the spring. We're actually getting ready to kick this off in a couple of weeks. During this phase, we plan the audit, conduct a comprehensive risk assessment, and evaluate the district's internal controls. We also perform the majority of our state and federal compliance testing, including procedures related to attendance reporting. Once the district closes its books and you approve the unaudited actuals, we move into the year-end phase. This phase focuses on the audit of the financial statements. Here we perform substantive testing of the district balance sheets accounts to verify that the amounts reported are accurate and fairly stated. This includes examining key areas such as revenues, accounts receivable and payables, cash balances, long-term debt, and capital assets. Now, as auditors, our responsibility is to express opinions about whether the financial statements prepared by management with your oversight as the governing board are fairly presented in all material respects in conformity with U.S. generally accepted accounting principles. We work collaboratively with the district, but our role remains that of an independent third party. Now, as a public entity, the district is required by the State Controller's Office to undergo an annual independent audit in accordance with generally accepted auditing standards and government auditing standards. This audit includes an evaluation of the district's financial statements, internal controls, and compliance with applicable state laws and regulations. Now, a summary of our results can be found on page 75 of the audit report or PDF page 84, whichever you're looking at. It lists all of our opinions, whether any findings were reported, which federal programs were tested for the year, and if any significant deficiencies or material weaknesses were identified. Now, moving on into the results, I'll start with the financial statements. So for the financial statements, we did issue an unmodified opinion, which is the highest level assurance that we can provide as an audit firm. This indicates that the financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the district as of June 30th. During our testing, however, we did identify both a material weakness and significant deficiencies in regards to the district's financial statements, which I will elaborate on a little later. However, our opinion was not modified as a result of these findings. For the federal awards, the major program we tested this year was the special education cluster. We issued an unmodified opinion and no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies were noted. Same goes for state awards, an unmodified opinion, no material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. Now to go back to the audit findings, I'll walk through each one of those briefly. The first one relates to internal controls over financial reporting. Now, as part of the audit, we look at whether the district has processes in place to review and verify the entries used to prepare the financial statements, including adjusting, reclassifying, and conversion entries. During our substantive testing, we identified several items, material items that required adjustment to the financial statements. To give you a better sense of the areas impacted, these adjustments affected the following reported balance. We had to adjust cash and county. The fair value wasn't adjusted properly to reflect the fair value as of June 30th, 2025. So we made an entry to reflect that. State revenue and accounts receivable adjustments were made to correct the reporting of Prop 28 revenues and the related accounts receivable, which were initially overstated to more accurately reflect the activity for the year. An adjustment was made to the Student Activity Fund, or ASB. Since no activity was recorded by the district during the year, an adjustment was made to reflect the actual revenues and expenditures of the ASB fund. And lastly, there was an adjustment for STIRS on behalf contributions. Similar to ASB, an adjustment was recorded to properly recognize the revenues and expenditures related to STIRS on behalf contributions for the year. We recommend that the management evaluate the existing internal control structure and implement necessary changes to help ensure the accuracy of the financial statements. Strengthening these controls will support timely identification, prevention, and correction of potential misstatements as part of normal business operations. Now, the second finding relates to internal controls over capital asset inventory reporting. During the audit, we identified a need to strengthen the process for updating the district's capital asset inventory during the year-end close. This is not a repeat finding. It was largely the result of recent staff turnover and the transition to a new financial statement, which I'm sure you're all aware of. Going forward, we recommend implementing procedures to ensure capital asset records are updated timely and accurately at year end, including tracking current year additions, disposals, construction in progress, and depreciation. This may involve continued coordination with the County Office of Ed or outside support from an external consulting firm to help strengthen the process. And those are the key takeaways and concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions for Marcus? I have one, and maybe it's as much for Jen and Marla as Marcus, but obviously we don't want to have findings. We have 2, and that's less than we had last year. We have a new accounting system. We have a turnover in the finance department. I'd just love to hear kind of our plan for next year, particularly the second one I'm less concerned about, but particularly the internal controls over financial reporting and kind of how we get comfortable that we'll be able to get those numbers right for the auditors next year.
I think the most important thing is at the end of the year, we have to adjust for the fair market value from the investment reports that go to the board every single month. So those investment reports on June 30th, we need to make those adjustments when they come in at the end of the fiscal year, as well as we need to be monitoring the revenue quarterly instead of annually. And I think that's something that we're really taking a look at and monitoring. Samanti was able to see that the other day, that we're continually checking our cash flow and making sure that the apportionments are actually what we're receiving. So I think that's something that we've already implemented this year. And as you know, with the capital assets, that's something that we're working heavily with the county on.
Great. Yeah, thank you. And then I probably the second year with the accounting software will help too, the financial software.
Tremendous.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, okay. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions? Okay. We have to vote to approve the audit, so I'll move to approve the audit. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Passes 5-0. Thank you, Marcus. 13B is request for proposal for category 2 internal connections network equipment. Don.
Thank you, Board of Trustees. So this is our RFP to be voted on today for approval. The purpose of this project covers the removal, replacement, installation, and testing of batteries, a power supply, updating our power supply, allowing for infrastructure and network improvements related to it, and then maintain compliance and life cycle standards. In addition, it would this RFP would replace the existing Palo Alto network firewall and migrate to the Cisco Meraki firewall. And so it's updating our systems. So this is E-rate is bought annually. It's voted on, and the RFP needs will, if approved, we can move forward with posting.
Any questions? Okay. I'll move approval for the RFP. One second. Chaitanya, second. All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries 5-0. Stop. Item 14, administration. 14A is the student mobile device policy.
Going to ask, there's a lot of people here, so if there's any committee members who are willing to come forward, you can take a seat. It would not be to present, it would just be to ask if there's any questions that are directed at committee members. Not a requirement if you're here, but I know there's quite a few here. Thanks for being here. If you were on the team, thank you. Thank you. I'll do the whole presentation. It's okay. There's not actually much of a presentation. It is, we have brought before you, oh, how about introductions?
Sure, Teresa Curtis, a parent of a 6th grader, 8th grader, and then a 9th grader at BHS.
Alyssa Jaramillo, principal at Washington, soon to be interim principal at BIS. Interim assistant principal at BIS. I got to practice the title in a couple more days.
As I presented back in, I think, December or November, we presented on the process we went through. It was about 5 meetings. with the committee, some in person, some virtual, to review potential device policy that you see before you, but with some changes when it was brought to management team, site management team, and to some of our additional committees, such as final policy was reviewed by our district advisory committee, our special education district advisory committee, our DLAC committee, and again, site management. So policies here before you. It is something board policy 5131.8. It's information tonight, and with the hope of being voted on in a second read in the next board meeting. I'm not going to read it to you, but we have our purpose and definition. One clear thing that came from a lot of our surveys and the committee feedback was the focus on protecting instructional time by whatever policy that we would adopt. Secondly, we wanted to make sure that safety and communication was still protected, and so that is reflected in the policy. One key ingredient that our committee felt closely to is whatever policy needed to be grounded in that that social interaction and well-being need to be at the forefront of whatever we decided to do. So whatever we decided to do, we wanted to make sure that students were interacting more so interpersonally without the devices being necessary. The requirement of this policy was also to make sure it reflected that there would be exceptions for device use for students who had IEPs or 504s or had emergency health plans that reflected the need for a device. And there's ed code connected to privacy and searches. If they have personal property on a school campus, the administration does have the right to confiscate such device. And then violations and consequences aligned to our already board policies and ed code if there were violations. So this is the policy before you, and open for questions.
I have a few thoughts. One sort of general and then a couple more specific. And maybe I'll just start with the more specific and then go to the more general. So if we can look at section 2.
Communication.
Yes. So there was just one part that felt like it needed a little tweaking. The part about students may access their devices before school, after dismissal, or during emergencies. Do we see that part?
Yes. Bullet 1.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Thank you. And then in the case of an emergency or a perceived threat of danger as determined by school personnel, it just feels like that all is meant to be one thought instead of two separate thoughts. So it feels like that or during emergencies is defined by that next sentence and should probably be combined so that it's not a separate statement.
Thank you.
Yep. And then, and I don't know if anyone else has thoughts on that part. No. And then the other just sort of minor thing was, in section 3, there is a sentence, and that's the part about, about the social interaction and well-being. So, and I sounds like this came from the committee and really feeling like the policy being enforced during instructional time and during non-instructional time. That was very important to the committee. The last sentence where it says no device use during these non-instructional times will be enforced, I think is an ambiguous sentence in a way that if I'm a 6th grader, I'm not clear. So and it seems like that the intent is that this policy will also be enforced during non-instructional times. So I think maybe if that can be relooked at, I think that would be a great place to adjust.
The double negative.
Yeah,
That's sort of a little misleading.
Yeah, I had this. I had to read it twice. Like the device prohibition use,
I think the intent's there, but I think it's not clear.
Exactly, exactly.
Thank you.
And then just more generally, one thing that struck me in reviewing it in preparation for tonight was that if we can go back to the top, one of the things that I noticed is the way the mobile communication devices are defined. And it includes, all of those assorted things, including laptops. And we also use school laptops, and school laptops are issued, and I know school laptops aren't meant to be governed by this policy. It's my understanding. The way it's written, that piece isn't clear.
So may I suggest that we put personal
Yes,
laptops?
that's exactly, yeah.
So personal
Yep.
laptops in. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, personal
Pers-
devices.
Personal.
Slapped to tablets also.
Yeah.
Tablets,
Personal,
okay. Headphones, we have classrooms, we use headphones. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
We can do
because
some work.
we don't want this to be suddenly someone comes and says, well, I can't use my laptop. It says so right here, and so I'm not going to be doing my schoolwork.
student would do
right?
that?
So,
I mean, they're supposed to do
so
that.
I think we just want to clarify this so it's clear.
Absolutely.
This applies to personal devices, and school issued instructional devices are governed by policies, but it's not this one. That was my general thought.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Other questions?
Yeah. In the first bullet for the instructional time protection, my understanding of this policy is that in BIS, this will mean people will be putting their devices in some approved thing and then taking them out at some approved thing at every class. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
so the difficulty with the middle schools, it's similar to a high school. It's large, 7-period day. Students are transitioning, and they need to transition with their items. We don't think we have the capacity to have a lockbox and then have all the students go back to their last class they started the day with. It just doesn't make a lot of sense.
Okay.
And so they would actually, if we went this route, there's two approaches. There's make sure it's in your backpack and it can't be out, or you have some kind of storage system in the classroom and it is dropped off at the beginning of class and picked up at the end of class, and then they transition to their next classroom, to brunch or to lunch or after school. So we would have to have some kind of monitoring system. It would be approved and by the school site through the administration. It would have to be run by and approved by us, by the cabinet.
On the same point, I was curious if the committee discussed the backpacks, leave it turned off in your backpack all day, then we don't have to go in and out on each period, versus, putting it in the pouch by the door for each period, where at least you know where it is and it's not being used. But if that was discussed, because it does take instructional time as well to load and unload the pouches every period.
Yeah, so there was some value discussion of that, whether is it reasonable or unreasonable to take away that time. And I think there was a lot of value put into that. It protected instructional time more so than the interruptions that you would get from potentially the disruption of having a student with the device out and then having to give a consequence, whether it's a referral to the office, things of that nature. So having a culture of dropping off the device, knowing that it would be there at the end, and knowing that a student could not have a device during the instructional time, did seem very important to the committee.
So I guess specifically though, my question is, if it's turned off in the backpack, it seems like this policy does not permit that, but it also seems like that's a non-disruptive solution. So I'm just curious if that was discussed versus the pouches, or at least making it permissible so not every single student is loading the pouch at the beginning.
Yeah, I think it ties to that. If the device was not in the pouch, and what would the response have to be by the teacher? The onus would have to fall back on the teacher to correct that behavior, return, either have the student sent to the office because they actually violated, because the backpacks are usually right at the feet of the students in the classroom. At least in middle school, they don't have sort of the backpack cubbies in every classroom. Some do. And so we didn't want to also develop a policy that didn't allow for sites to have some choice, although we want our elementaries to agree to what they're all going to do. We don't want one school to say, oh, we're going to do little baskets at the front of the doorway. Other schools will have pouches. Others are going to do, tucked away in the backpack. We're going to get our elementary schools and principals to agree to the what, so that it's not different from school to school.
Okay, so that makes sense. So the reason the turned off the backpack doesn't work is because the backpack's open and it's right by the kid's feet, and we don't know if it's turned off, and then the teacher's back to enforcing the no cell phone in the classroom.
Tempting,
So that's
and then you have sometimes substitute teachers, and the enforcement would be that, I mean, it will take away from more, in my opinion, from my years' experience, it would take more instructional time away when you're managing whether the student has the device on their person, in their backpack, or in their purse, than it would by having the device sort of at the front being dropped off.
That makes sense.
It would
I
save
think
more
that
time.
High school does it that way as well.
And that came up. And on the committee, we did have high school representatives who, principal Dr. Fong and sister principal attended one or two meetings, and they shared that it helped because a lot of the times school sites are managing the violation in the classroom as opposed to just managing drop off the phone in the area at the front.
Yeah, that's very helpful for me. Thank you.
And presumably they'll be able to share sort of best practices around making it go smoothly so that it doesn't impact instructional time.
And it will be a culture thing, right? So they'll get used to, I can speak for my daughter. She goes to Burlingame High. She enters the classroom. She knows, dad knows not to text her except during lunch. Which they can have the device during lunch. And so that's their time. So it becomes a culture that you get used to. And it's something that we would like to see at the middle school also.
But just to be clear, this policy is bell to bell, no cell phones. Just so if everybody hasn't read it, that's what we're saying. Bell to bell, no cell phones. They can't stay in the backpack. They go in the pouch.
The expectation is lunch. It's supposed to stay in the backpack.
Yeah, kids are not allowed to be on their phone at lunch or during brunch or passing period.
That's the social number, I think 3, where we want students interacting.
Yeah.
But we're not going as far as yonder pouches like some of the high schools have done.
Okay.
So kind of just thinking about the storage issue. So, because I know that point 7 talks about the district not being responsible or liable for a mobile communication device that's lost, stolen, or damaged. And how typically at a high school that has this sort of pouch policy, how is that piece managed would be a question I would have, right? So, because what I'm picturing is sort of a set of pockets that are by the door as they walk in, and now someone's walking out and they're gonna grab something else. Like, so presumably there are systems in place to support that?
The more prevalent that tracking your device has become, the less prevalent theft has become with students' cell phone devices, from my experience. So I can tell stories of a student's phone going missing when I worked for the high school, and we would track it to a home, and we'd have to send an officer, because now you're talking about $1,000 device being stolen. And so students, it's actually more prevalent when they're hidden, and now the backpack went missing, and it was supposed to be there all day in my backpack, and now it's gone missing. So knowing that it's there at the front and that it's going to be there when you leave the class is something they can, rely more on.
Okay.
Other questions?
Not all of our students have personal devices they're bringing to school. What is stopping a kid from just saying, "Oh, I don't have anything"?
Right. They could probably do that. Then it falls back on sort of the classroom management and behavior, and some students will arrive to school, not put it in the cubby, or lack of a better word, the calculator catcher at the front, near the teacher's desk, and might have their device, and there would be a consequence similar to any misbehavior on a campus.
To be part of the growing pain
Yes.
of culture change.
And I see smartwatches are on this list as well, so we're expecting Apple Watches to come off, go in the bag and come
Yeah,
back.
so in the elementary where it's most prevalent is that the Apple Watch or watch would go into their backpack for the duration of the day. We did not want, safety was very important based on the feedback from our families. And so we wanted to make sure that their child had a device at the begin to enter school and at the end of school because of communication, transportation, activities, things of that nature that have a lot of safety around them. And so a full ban was not really, although it was discussed, it was not sort of, the data did not suggest that we should go to a full ban because of the concerns around safety after school and before school. So that goes to that students would still have their watches and their phones, but we would manage it within the instructional time of the day.
I'm not sure the watch in the backpack is legal under this policy, the way I read it. So just might want to take a quick, I mean, if that's the intention for the elementary students to be able to do that, I kind of read it as all devices have to go.
Oh, you mean for the cubbies? Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, so if the rule was at the elementary, they had cubbies, the smart watch would also go there for the duration. And for elementary, it'd likely be for the duration of the day.
Okay.
Because
And
they only have one classroom.
We've left flexibility for them to figure out the storage solution, whatever that is. Okay, thank you.
Do you think that there's an impact on, just from like a peer pressure point of view, right? If I'm a fifth grader and I'm walking and I see 50% of my class walking up and putting a watch in and the other half is not, right? I could see that. I just was wondering if that had factored into any of the discussions at the committee.
Peer pressure, correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, that was discussed. There was a strong advocacy for us to have something about in the policy about mitigation and purchasing and things of that nature, and to avoid the peer pressure aspect of purchasing for a child. It was discussed in our first couple meetings that and it was shared that we thought it was maybe the policy was going to be overreaching about personal preference. And so we didn't explore that to find itself in this policy specifically. Anything you want to add?
I would just say the discussion about having the device in the backpack versus a cubby. Students, I think they know that it's there, and the temptation is greater for them to check their phone, check their message if it's within their reach versus being put away. And I think ultimately that will help them emotionally, knowing that it's not on them to have that need to want to check it. So that's one of the reasons why, a lot of us were for putting in some sort of cubby device. That way, if it's out of sight and out of mind, the less temptation that they would have to want to look at it.
Some physical distance between them and the device. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you. Okay, any other discussion or questions? Okay, well, this is just information, first read. I mean, just a couple comments. First of all, I appreciate the committee and everyone who spent time on this. I know it's really important to a lot of the community. I expect it will be very popular with parents and very unpopular with students, but we'll see how that goes. And I guess the last question, we were thinking now of rolling this out. I know we have maybe board decision on this, but it looks as though we're rolling this out when at this point, the beginning of next school year.
It would start effective the start of the school year. We would have a communication plan was shared in a week, they could reshare it. And the communication plan would be first starting with educating our administrators, who would then present this at a staff meeting. And from staff meeting, it would be presented to the students. And then it would be presented in some form of webinar or informational one-pager to our family community. It would be nice to align communication, but I don't know if it's going to work. probably some kind of communication for open house
Mhm.
would make a lot of sense.
Okay, thank you. All right, thank you. We'll move on to item 15A, which is the release and resignation of a certificated administrator.
Bring before you, aligning with Ed Code 44951, notification of to certify as a voting item. Administrator would be in a current administration position, reassigned to a non-administrative position for the upcoming school year. So this is a resolution that we are asking for to be to direct us to said notice of possible release and reassignment of this administrator.
Okay. Any questions? Okay, I'll move approval.
Second.
Cool, second. All those in favor? Aye. 5-0. Son. All right, item 16 is a statement of board members. Can we start with you, Samantha?
Yeah,
again?
absolutely, absolutely. I know it is conference time, and I know that there are pains with picking kids up at 1:30 and things like that. But I have to say that I'm so proud and in awe of our teachers who really put in the work to make it feel like each student is like a 1-to-1 versus a 1-to 23 or whatever it is. It is really incredible. Even our veteran teachers, we've had veteran teachers and new teachers, and it is incredible how prepared they are, how prepared they are for random questions from parents. And I'm sure some parents push back really hard on different things. And so it's just a huge testament to the quality of our teachers. And I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I know I owe a couple of kids some ice cream this weekend. Doing such a great job. All right. I attended the January BSC PTA Council meeting, and that was always informative. I love a good PTA Council meeting. While at Groupology for the readathon last week, I attended a webinar titled Including Immigrant Students and Families, Cultivating Community Partnerships and Parent Voice. That was put on by the California Department of Ed and the state superintendent. And that was very eye-opening to see how communities throughout California who are more affected by immigration enforcement are handling the situation. That was really, really wonderful to hear all the voices. I also attended another webinar put on by the California Teachers Association for school board trustee training. And there were trustees, new trustees, old trustees from all over California. And it's always great to have a new perspective. We're continuing our bond measure work. And I attended my first district advisory committee meeting as a board liaison. So I got a little sneak peek into our new device policy coming up. That's it.
I want to echo what you said about the parent-teacher conferences. And one thing to add there, it's great seeing all the data in those tools that we have in the district being used to track things over time and everything. I think that's pretty helpful in figuring out aggregate stuff for the district. That's going to be really great going forward. The other thing, I did attend the city liaison meeting. That was also really nice to see the great collaboration happening between the district and the city. It's a lot of different opportunities for collaboration, and the communication is open and that is strong, and that's good to see.
I want to echo my fellow trustees' thoughts about how amazing our teachers are, and with conferences and just how hard everyone works to provide data and real insight into the strengths that they see in every student and the areas for growth. And it's just been so great to see. And then as far as committee work, I'm on the Bond Oversight Committee, and I will say, having been at the most recent meeting, and just really being struck by how much has been accomplished by the last bond, and from the BIS auditorium and all the interior modernization and air conditioning and all of the things that have happened as a result of the bond. When you look at that list, it's a pretty amazing list. And we have a new bond coming in. I think there's a lot of really important projects that are going to be part of that. But it was really kind of gratifying to see so much improvement that's happened in our district with this last one.
Thanks. I think most of what I would say has already been said. Just a couple things to agree with Chaitanya and Katie on. Also attended the city district liaison. And for those that haven't met our sort of city administrators and elected officials, it's really cool to see how competent and caring and passionate they are about the city, the town place where we live, city of Burlingame, I guess. It's always impressive to see how committed that group is. So I've been to a few of those meetings and really enjoyed that, which Chaitanya mentioned as well. And then also on the bond work, I just want to the bond projects, add my voice that that's the community supporting our schools and voting themselves higher taxes to build these buildings that our kids all get to enjoy, so that we can maintain the quality education and the facilities that we have. So I just appreciate both of those, the theme being Burlingame is a great place to live. So that's all I had. Thank you. Next up is item 17, public statements related to non-agenda items. And we do have one from Angelique Berry.
You know me, this is way out of my comfort wheelhouse, but here we go. Thank you, Burlingame School District administrators, board members, and Dr. Silversmith. We, a collective group of McKinley educators, myself, Danny Bird, Yvette Carrera, Sanjana Chan, Elaine Cruz Tarengo, Lizette Cuevas, Angela Ha, Justina Mendoza, Lindsay Mitchell, and Janine Rutlinger, are speaking tonight to express our clear support for Principal Susana Garcia Fernandez. Our staff represents many years of service to the Burlingame district. We are proud of the work being done at McKinley every day to serve the students and the families. While teachers focus on the needs of their classroom, site administrators carry the responsibility for the entire community. Leading a school requires constant decision-making, recruitment, communication, and balancing the needs of students, staffs, families, districts, and state officials. We recognize the scope and difficulty of this role and appreciate Ms. Susana's continued commitment to our school. Like any professional in a new leadership role, she faces challenges and has made adjustments. We have seen her reflect, learn, and refine her approach to best meet the needs of McKinley students. This is the same growth mindset we speak to our students of, and we believe it should be recognized in leadership as well. Given the recent public concerns surrounding the difficult decisions that have been made, we feel it is important that the district leadership and the board members hear directly from staff who work with her daily. After multiple administrative transitions at McKinley, stability matters. We believe that Ms. Garcia Fernandez is working towards that stability and is committed to improving and strengthening our school community. We stand in support of Susana Garcia Fernandez and want our perspective included in any discussion regarding McKinley's climate and leadership. Thank you.
Thank you, Angelique. Item 18 is board requested items. And we have one item that's, I think we hit today, cell phone restrictions update, right? Okay. Are there any other items that a board member would like to request for future discussion? No?
You might want some more mints for the kids.
Yeah.
They did like the
Yeah, clean us out. All right, so. Item 19, any public comments related to closed session items? No, okay. In that case, we will recess to our closed session at 7:35. Thank you.
You wore many layers today.
Where I